Antarctica isn't just cold, it's alive. Ice cracks, ground shifts, and winds roar past 300 kilometers an hour. How do you build here and survive? From rising bases to zero-emission labs, the engineering begins at Jang Bogo Station. Opened in 2014, South Korea's Jang Bogo Station is the country's second Antarctic base and one of the most advanced on the continent. From a distance, it resembles a stealth aircraft, and that look is no accident. Its low-profile aerodynamic form was tested in wind tunnels to survive some of the strongest gusts on Earth. Even the outer panels are shaped like a golf ball. Those tiny dimples slice through Antarctic winds and prevent snow from sticking. Instead of piling up around doors and windows, snow drifts beneath the structure thanks to raised foundations. The station is made up of 16 connected buildings covering about 4,600 square meters. It follows a Y-shaped layout, with one wing for science, one for living, and one for operations. The design is not only efficient, but safer. Each wing is fire-separated and includes multiple exits for quick evacuation if something goes wrong. Inside, heat control is critical. Windows use 5 layers of glass, and the entire structure is sealed to trap warmth when temperatures fall below -30 degrees Celsius. A combined heat and power system recycles energy, while the buildings are angled to block dominant winds and capture as much summer sunlight as possible. Getting Jang Bogo to Antarctica was a mission on its own. Prefabricated modules were built in Busan, South Korea, shipped to New Zealand, then carried by Korea's icebreaker across thousands of kilometers of violent seas. During summer, the station supports up to 62 researchers. In winter, that number drops to about 23. Life runs on strict limits. Internet data is controlled so tightly that automatic phone updates are blocked, and residents are asked to keep online activity low. Fresh food is rare, so the station maintains a small plant lab, an indoor garden growing leafy greens and herbs under artificial lights. It's not only about nutrition. Seeing something green and alive helps during the endless polar night. From there, the journey moves east to Utsteinian Ridge, where Belgium built one of Antarctica's most ambitious stations. Princess Elizabeth Station opened in February 2009, after 2 short summer construction seasons. It became the first zero-emission research station on Earth, powered completely by wind and solar energy. Building it was brutal. The ridge sits on solid granite, and drill heads broke while anchoring the foundation. Once secured, the rest of the station was built in Belgium, packed into 100 containers, shipped from Antwerp, and rebuilt on site. The compact structure is heavily insulated with 9 layered walls made from aluminum, wood, insulation, and craft paper to keep it airtight and efficient. Its aerodynamic shell holds steady in winds reaching 300 kilometers per hour. Power comes from 9 wind turbines, hundreds of solar panels, thermal collectors, battery storage, and a smart microgrid that constantly balances energy supply and demand to keep the station stable, efficient, and safe. Princess Elizabeth can host up to 50 researchers, with labs, sleeping quarters, and shared spaces packed into a compact layout. It's not only efficient, it's designed to leave no trace behind. All wastewater is treated and reused, and any trash is flown out of Antarctica. Then came something unexpected. In 2021, the station became home to Venturi Antarctica, the world's first electric polar exploration vehicle. It showed what's possible when a station is engineered for efficiency from the ground up. But what if you had to build fast in one of the harshest places on Earth? That's exactly what India attempted, and the result became one of Antarctica's most unusual stations. India's Bharati Station, located in the Lasman Hills along Prids Bay, is the first Antarctic research base built entirely from modified shipping containers, 134 of them. Prefabricated in Germany and shipped through Antwerp and Cape Town, the station was assembled in just 127 days during the short Antarctic summer and officially opened in March 2012. Unlike most bases, Barathi doesn't sit on the ice. It stands above it on stilts, because a single storm can bury ground-level doors within hours. Wind tunnel testing shaped its aerodynamic form, while stiff Y-shaped columns at the front and a concrete core at the back keep it steady in winds reaching 200 miles per hour. Inside, the ground floor holds labs, storage, and technical systems. The second level is for living, with rooms, a kitchen, gym, library, offices, and even a small operating theater. The top level houses air systems and opens to a rooftop terrace. Power comes from 3 kerosene-fueled combined heat and power units, reusing heat to warm the station. Barathi also supports ISRO space research, sending satellite data back to India in real time. Designed for removal and a 25-year life, it proves modular design can still deliver serious science, while India expands its scientific reach across several sites. Brazil faced a different challenge, starting again from nothing. What followed became one of the strongest comebacks in Antarctica. In 2012, a fire ripped through Brazil's original station, destroying almost everything. Instead of walking away, Brazil chose to rebuild stronger. After years of planning and a $100 million investment, the country opened a brand new base in 2020. It wasn't only larger, it was smarter. The new station spans about 4,500 square meters, nearly double the original size. It consists of 2 sleek linear buildings lifted on stilts above the ground. This design prevents snow from piling up around entrances and works with the terrain, making assembly easier and movement safer during storms. The project was designed by Studio 41, a Brazilian architecture firm that assembled a team of about 15 specialists, including experts in wind resistance, geotechnics, and thermal insulation. Their mission was tough but clear: create a structure that could survive Antarctica's brutal climate while staying efficient and livable. To turn plans into reality, Brazil partnered with the Chinese construction company SEC. Inside the station are 17 laboratories built for research ranging from microbiology to climate science. Some include advanced equipment like DINA readers, ultrasers, and high-grade water purification systems. The station also supports long stays. It includes a gym, a library, and comfortable shared living spaces for teams spending months on the ice. Every element, from wall insulation to rooftop solar panels and wind turbines, was designed to balance sustainability with daily comfort. All major components were prefabricated and shipped south over several seasons, with construction limited to the short Antarctic summer. Even the location was carefully selected between 2 meltwater lakes and only 45 meters from the shoreline to protect the fragile environment and use natural resources wisely. While Brazil rebuilt after disaster, Germany chose a smarter fight against Antarctica's biggest threat: snow. Rather than being buried, Germany's Neumayer III station was designed to rise. Each year, nearly a meter of snow collects around it, so engineers placed the entire structure on 16 massive hydraulic legs. These lift the 2,300-ton station upward, keeping it above the snow line, with movements so smooth people inside barely notice. Neumayer III was shaped to survive Antarctica's brutal winds. Engineers tested the station in wind tunnels to lock in the most aerodynamic form. Because it rests on a floating ice shelf, the structure drifts about 160 meters toward the sea each year. Power comes from 3 diesel generators, supported by a wind turbine to save fuel. When the station reaches the end of its life, it can be fully dismantled, leaving almost nothing behind. Planning for Neumayer III began in 1999. Construction started in 2007, and the station opened in 2009. It cost around €39 million and was designed to operate for 25 to 30 years. Today, it stands as one of the most advanced polar research stations on Earth, showing how engineering can survive and function in the planet's harshest environments. Germany's Neumayer III is modern, but Antarctica also holds stations built long before today's technology. One of the oldest still operating belongs to Japan. Japan's Showa station has run continuously since 1957, making it one of the longest active bases on the continent. The oldest overall is Argentina's Orcada station from 1904, but Showa became a symbol of Japan's return to global science after World War II. Showa is located on East Ongull Island, about 4 kilometers from the Antarctic coast. Because it sits beside the sea, conditions are milder than stations far inland. Even in winter, average temperatures stay near -10 degrees Celsius, and winds are less severe than in the interior. When Showa first opened, it had only 4 small buildings. Today, it has expanded into about 70 structures across more than 7,000 square meters. The site includes living quarters, power plants, storage areas, science labs, and monitoring stations, forming a self-contained scientific village on ice. Most buildings are raised about 1 meter on concrete supports to stop snow piling against walls. The station has been rebuilt over time, including a major 1993 project adding a large central building with fireproof timber and new joinery systems, taking over 2,000 person days. Inside Showa, researchers study atmospheric gases, cosmic rays, CO and methane, climate trends, and Earth's magnetic field. In 2018, new cosmic ray detectors were installed inside refrigerated shipping containers. Because crews rotate yearly, systems pass knowledge between teams so nothing is lost, and some buildings from the 1960s still stand, showing careful maintenance. While Japan's station shows how endurance keeps a base running for decades, Poland chose a fresh start. Poland's Henryk Arctowski station on King George Island, just 75 meters from Antarctica's mainland, is being completely rebuilt. The new design handles snow, storms, and shifting ice far better than before, while improving comfort, science, and sustainability. The entire station is built in Poland and shipped south in 113 containers. Walls, systems, and structure are prefabricated for Antarctica's short summer window. Once assembled, the base stands 3 meters above the surface on steel stilts, stopping snow from burying entrances. Its shape, inspired by an upside-down airplane wing, stays stable in powerful winds. Copper aluminum cladding gives a golden look while resisting salt, wind, and corrosion. Inside, wooden finishes soften the harsh exterior. Smart systems let sections shut down in winter to save power. A greenhouse grows food year-round. From wind-powered labs to stations that rise above the snow, Antarctic bases prove what humans can build where nature never wanted us. They aren't just structures, they're lifelines for science and survival. Which one would you choose for a season? Tell us below. For more megabuild stories, like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode.